Amazingly, the shark lies motionless upside down, allowing me to have a really close look.
Well, how does it pick up the electrical signals?
Well, it has these wonderful ampullae of Lorenzini. You see this little pattern on his snout, those little black dots? See that right on his snout?
What looks like a faint 5 o'clock shadow on this shark are the ampullae of Lorenzini. Every shark has these tiny, jelly-filled pores on its snout. It's these minuscule black holes that are the electrosense receptors.
And they're like electrical wires. That allows electric fields from the natural ocean to penetrate deep into their body.
Sharks also have an excellent field of vision, and their eyes are 10 times more sensitive to light than human eyes. They even have eyelids.
Now look at this. Watch this. You see his...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see that? That's winking from the bottom up.
Extraordinary. A winking shark.
Take your hand and rub it around that fin.
Look at that. I'm holding a shark. I'll tell my mates about this down the pub. Having added 4 or 5 feet.
Tell them the camera lens makes it look smaller than it is.
Yeah. It's actually 8 feet long. And my hands are enormous. To complete my shark senses education, Dr. Gruber is going to take me to a special location. I'm hoping his somewhat unconventional approach will bring me my first encounter with sharks in the wild. We've come to a remote mangrove swamp, known only to a select few. This secluded spot is apparently a haven for young sharks and the ideal place to demonstrate the full range of their sensory capabilities. And the doc has brought along something to lure them in. Dead mackerel, the Big Mac of the underwater world.
The scent is flowing out toward where the sharks are, and it should attract them to us.
The doc casts his magic spell, and within minutes there are baby lemon sharks everywhere, swimming just a few feet from my ankles.
So what we're looking at here are little lemon sharks that have no experience with dead bait or food like this at all. They're going on their natural instincts. But once we start intervening by making splashes and having them associate that with food, that is learning.
They can pick up the sounds of splashing through tiny openings on their heads that lead to internal ears. And as sound travels 4.5 times faster and further in water than in air, it means that sharks can home in on prey from as much as half a mile away. The doc lures the lemon sharks in and then starts teasing them.
You can't have it. You can't have it. You ain't gonna have it. Hey, cute little guy.
Then it's my turn.
He's looking at it. Wiggle it.
And it seems I have the magic touch as well.
Perfect.
It's the shark's senses that make them such great predators. In fact, you could argue that sharks are actually superior to human beings. Where we have 5 senses, they have 7. It's time to up the shark ante, and the doc has something in mind. En route, we see a school of amazing rays. I'd quite like to swim around with those. Instead, the doc takes me to a spot called Triangle Rocks. As I get my diving gear on, there are already plenty of reef sharks zigzagging in front of the boat. Those lemon sharks were tiddlers by comparison. These are 6 to 7 feet long. They could easily take my leg off, and he's expecting me to get in with them. I'm on a mission in search of killer sharks somewhere in the Bahamas, and I think I've found them.
Now if they come close, kick those sharks away.
With eminent shark scientist Dr. Sam Gruber in charge, I feel immensely reassured. The doc has his students hanging from a line in the water just a few feet from these reef sharks. This is the standard punishment for anyone handing in a late essay. I plunge in and hope the sharks don't confuse my pale knees for some of the bait. I join the line. The doc assures me that the sharks won't bother us.
Kick them away. Don't let them come close. You got to show them who's boss.
By now, the sharks are in a real feeding frenzy. Dr. Gruber throws shark bait at us.
Kick 'em!
For a laugh.
No kidding. Stay close together. You're separating. Stay close and kick them.
Underwater, it's an extraordinary spectacle. We make our way down to the seabed for a different view. Everywhere I look, there are sharks. Fortunately, they're only interested in the bait. Gasping in amazement soon empties my tank of all its air.
It was truly fantastic. Hundreds of them swimming around. Fantastic. I can't believe it's possible. Swimming around with sharks.
It's time to ratchet up the shark danger factor to the highest rating. This is the tiger shark, the most feared and deadly predator in the Caribbean. But to find a shark like this, I'm going to need a bigger boat. On board are a crack team of shark hunters, led by Captain Paul Whipple. Immediately, I decide to inspect the special equipment required to protect me from marauding tiger sharks. I think this is a shark cage. It's made out of old plastic drain pipes and some bits of chicken wire that they nicked off a farm. It's really confidence building. Hang on a minute. A shark can get through this gap, can't it?
It's a little one.
Little one.
Could.
Well, that's not that little. That's still like a big reef shark or something.
Well, yeah.
What happens if it gets in? And why isn't there a lid?
It's a fine question. They're not interested in the cage. They're interested in the food, so.
Well, exactly, and they can get inside the cage and get the food.
Oh, the food's not in the cage.
Have any of you ever used this?
Yeah, oh yeah. We used it last week.
Take your glasses off and say that, look at me in the eye.
We used it last week.
Was somebody in it?
Myself, yeah.
I remain to be convinced. Next morning, the pirate's lady casts off and sets out for the open sea. My expedition to find the biggest and most dangerous shark in the Caribbean is underway. On board with us is Gary Adkison, a man who specialises in face-to-face shark encounters. He's going to be my killer shark mentor on this voyage. Right, to see how much this bloke Gary really knows about his subject, I'm going to challenge him to a game of shark top trumps. Don't look. Are you ready?
I guess I am.
Maximum length, 594 centimetres.
I only have 300 centimeters. What kind of shark is that?
Have a guess.
That's got to be a Carcharinus, white shark.
He's right.
He's big guy.
But he's lost.
This looks like my ex-mother-in-law.
Oh.
I got you this one. I got
No,
you.
you haven't.
No, I got.
Maximum length, 1,370 centimetres. It is, ladies and gentlemen, the whale shark.
The whale shark.
Gary might know his shark facts, but he lacks experience at this game. Despite a late comeback from Gary, I triumph. As the sun sinks, we approach our destination, the ominously named Tiger Beach. Gary has dived here before and shows us some footage of what it's like. This remote sandbar has a fearsome reputation, and in just a few hours, I'll be down there. Daylight reveals what appears to be just another expanse of ocean. I thought we were actually in the middle of nowhere here, but the captain tells me this is Tiger Beach, which is famous presumably for tiger sharks.
The reason it's called a beach is we have a white sand bottom around us and only about 5 meters of water.
How big is a tiger shark then?
It's a powerful shark. It's a very strong shark with the capability of cutting through the shell of a turtle. The only other one that could compare would be a great white.
These tiger sharks are certain to be much bigger than any shark I've so far encountered. Some of them can be as much as 15 feet long.
There's certain buttons that you don't want to push in this animal. In their mind, anything on the surface is sick, unhealthy, or wounded. And in silhouette, we kind of look turtleish, and that happens to be their favorite food. They're going to investigate that.
Attracting tiger sharks involves putting a lot of bait in the water. At Tiger Beach, being close to that bait can be extremely dangerous.
I didn't see one come up behind me, and he mouthed my scuba tank from behind. And when I reacted and turned around, he was all over the camera and mouthing it and bumping it and basically talking to me, communicating as they do with each other to back off. This is my pile of fish, and back off.
Gary then watched as the same shark made a beeline for one of his fellow divers.
You never lose respect for this animal because he is a very powerful, intelligent animal.